I've just spoke explaining why Jac's sitting next to you.
Look, it's a great opportunity for Jac, and left it pretty late before I asked the question, but look, he just said he'd be honoured to do it. He's a fantastic individual, well respected by players in the group. He's definitely a player for the future, for a long time, hopefully for Wales. We've had a chat about where we see him playing. We know he can play in other positions in the back row, but definitely sort of that 7 position, getting the balance right for that back row. And he's been great this week, so it's a huge opportunity for him to go out there, and a really proud moment for himself and his family.
Jac, what was your reaction?
I was pretty chuffed when one asked me to be captain. It's a great honour to be able to lead the boys out, and it was good.
Under 20s captain, of course. How much do you draw on that experience?
Captain in the 20s, it was good, but like with the 20s, I knew there's a lot of leaders within the group that help around and can turn to. So it's a great group, and it just makes it a lot easier with the boys there supporting.
All the experienced players, is that harder as a younger player to talk to them, or are they making it easier for you?
They're making it easier. They're obviously using their experience and helping out, and they want the best for the squad and for everyone, and so just best preparing for the weekend.
Presumably you won't be leading the side out with Lee getting his 100th cap, is that right?
Yeah, Lee will be leading out. It's a great occasion for himself. He's been one of the best players for years, and he's probably one of the best professionals that we've got. He's driven and he's a great role model for everyone who's coming through to look up for him. So for him to have the 100th cap it's amazing.
So I hope you get the chance again to get the full experience.
Hopefully, but we'll see.
Warren, a word about Lee?
Yeah, as Jac just said, look, if you're talking about someone as a role model in terms of being a professional, you could not get a harder worker than Lee Halfpenny in the way that he prepares, the homework he does, the analysis, the recovery. He's just the ultimate professional in terms of wanting the best, and for not the biggest guy in the world. Started his career on the wing, and then being brilliant as a positional 15. He's lost a yard or two of pace. He admits that, but he's been a tremendous goal kicker. Like I said, defensively, still probably the best defensive fullback in world rugby positionally. So it's a great honour for him, and absolutely delighted. I think it's been a while coming. He's had a few injuries in the last year or so, but hopefully it's a great occasion for him and his family.
3 warm-up games. Just explain what your thinking was behind the selection for this one.
The selection was about some combinations. Probably the new caps playing at home and making that experience potentially a little bit easier. With a lot of the boys got a lot of family and friends coming. I think Corey Domachowski's got a whole busload coming from his place, and I think he needs about 40 odd tickets or something. So that's pretty exciting. And I think this was one of the reasons why I decided to name the team yesterday, was because those new guys and the new caps, their phones were pretty hot yesterday, and they didn't have to deal with sort of the text messages and WhatsApp messages today. They were able to deal with that yesterday, and obviously a lot of phone calls and stuff. So some of those young boys are pretty excited about that, and it's a great opportunity for. There's some great competition within the squad, so there's going to be some really tough calls, and we do finally name the 33, and they get a chance to go out there on Saturday to put down a marker.
What do you make of the match-up against England? They seem to have picked a slightly more fringe side.
Yeah, I don't think that the English players would like to hear that sort of comment. I think with Stevie, they're probably a little bit like us. They've got 4 warm-up games. You want to have a look at a lot of players in the squad and look at different combinations. They've got playing some potential fringe players, but also when you look there's some combinations there as well. You look at the 8, 9, 10 Harlequins and some experience in that back line as well, with proven players and some young players getting an opportunity up front.
And finally from me, one for both of you, it is Wales-England. It might be a summer series game, might be a World Cup warm-up. You might have other things in your mind, but it's still Wales-England at Principality Stadium.
Yeah, and we were well aware of that. And I've got to say that I'm incredibly impressed with this group of players, how hard they've worked in the last sort of 7 or 8 weeks. So I think we're in great shape physically. Couldn't have asked for any more in terms of they've been to the well, and they've had to sort of dig deep a few times in terms of some of the things that we've put them through. But they've been absolutely brilliant. I said we're in great shape physically, and we'll go out and give a good performance on Saturday.
Jack?
Yeah, it'll be a big match on Saturday, but like I said, it's been tough for a couple of weeks, couple of months in training, and it's just brought the group closer and worked really hard. So it's be exciting now to go out on Saturday and put in a performance.
Okay, Lauren. Warren, it's not common to see 2 props starting on debut, not just for Wales but for any country. You did say for the Six Nations, the tight 5 was one of the main areas you were looking for improvement in. What have you seen from those 2 during the last few months?
Well, not just those 2. I think we identified that we probably weren't in the physical shape that we needed to be during the Six Nations for a number of reasons, and that's definitely been a focus for us. Those 2 were impressive for the club sort of towards the end of the season, and it's they get a great opportunity. I mean, probably the big game for them was the performance against Sale, and probably the last game of the Judgment Day game and the last game of the round as well. So, like I said, we wanted to take a little bit of pressure off them by giving them a chance at home. They know each other pretty well, and we put someone there, an experienced, even though he's been around for a while, he's still relatively inexperienced sort of internationally in terms of Ryan, but he brings that physicality and size, and I think he's pretty well renowned for his scrummaging prowess and how strong he is. So they've got a pretty solid hooker between the 2 young boys, and for them it's just to go and enjoy the experience and in front of a big crowd at home. There'd be no pressure from us. One of the things as a coach, you can't coach experience, and so just hopefully they go out there and really enjoy the occasion.
You go back to your first World Cup with Wales in 2011, and it's remembered now, or that year's remembered now for Father Town making his debut with the Barbars, Sam Overton being named as captain. Have you seen a couple of players with the same qualities and the same potential as those?
Yeah, it's a long time ago now. There's a few things that are similar to that in terms of, I think what's been good with this group, there's been a lot of new players and younger players that have come in, and I think because there's been so many of them, they've felt comfortable. They've felt comfortable in the environment, because it's not as if there's 1 or 2 coming in with a really established group, and I think for the older players, they've had to sit up a little bit and go, I'm under a bit of pressure, there's a bit of competition in the squad, and that's been incredibly healthy for this group. They've gelled exceptionally well together. Like I said, they've been through some pretty tough sessions, but have come out that on the other side. And the hardest thing is going to be for us is when we finally name the 33, because there's going to be some really close calls and some tough selection decisions.
How many of those 33 do you know now? How close are you to being able to name the squad?
I probably know about 1 of them.
Jack,
maybe it might be him if he's lucky. So.
Go back to 2019. You, as Hamish mentioned, you captained the under-20s, but a lot of the boys you played with then are in this team now: Rio, Sam, Derry, Max. Does that mean more to you that you've come through the ranks together?
Yeah, definitely. It's been good to train with a lot of the boys, and obviously coming through with them. I think there's about maybe 8 or 9 of us in that 20s when we were out in Argentina that played together, and we went through that camp and then going through and playing, being in a camp together in the seniors. So yeah, it's great to be amongst them and back training with other boys. And
I remember at that time you weighing up your apprenticeship for your life in rugby. This must be a moment you're thinking, I've made the right decision.
Yeah, I think I made the right decision. yeah, it was making a choice back then. I think it was October 2019. I made the decision to leave, and still in contact with a lot of boys from work. Sending messages yesterday to congratulate. So yeah, it's been good.
What was the apprenticeship?
Like mechanical engineering.
Oh, you can still go back at some point. I've been informed that Clive Rowlands made his debut as captain against England 60 years ago from Cwmtwrch, the same area as you. What does it mean to the area, Jack, and to your family?
Yeah, it's massive. See, Clive I've been fortunate to know Clive for years. I played with his grandson in Cwmtwrch all through junior, so every Sunday Clive would be down, or most Sundays he'd be down watching us boys play, and to be able to know him and meet him has been great, and I'll send the condolences to the family. But what he's done for Cwmtwrch and for the village, it's been brilliant. He's been such a role model for everyone who's come through there, and for everyone as a family. It's a sad moment, but yeah, he's had a great effect on us all.
And just finally for me, Warren, there's always talk about coaches not wanting to give away too much tactically versus wanting to go into the World Cup with confidence and with form. How do you get that balance right?
Yeah, that's a challenge for us. It's kind of, we know there's been a lot of chat about the group we're in, and particularly Fiji first up, and that's in the back of our minds, and so it's thinking about that, but it's again not giving them the complete blueprint, right from the start in terms of the 3 games that we play. So it's just mixing and matching a little bit, and adding things in as we go in these 3 games in terms of a little bit more depth in terms of what we're trying to do as a team.
Okay, Matt?
Warren, just expand a little bit on the qualities that Jack has that makes him a candidate for captain.
Oh, I think the thing is that he's humble. I think he's a good man, and that he's, like I said, really, really well respected within the squad. He doesn't say a lot and talk a lot, but leads, a little bit like Sam in terms of leads by example. Goes out there and wants his the way that he trains and the way that he plays, lets that do the talking, and I think that's a huge positive about him. We went to Turkey last week and took a referee out with us, and we did some live stuff, and one of the comments the ref said to me, just some of the interaction between the ref and Jack in terms of some of the questions and the way that he handled them. He was really impressed with just asking some really good positive questions without being aggressive in any way. So that was for me probably an indication we'd made the right call there.
You said you sprung it on him quite late. Can you just expand on the wheres and the whens that you told Jack?
Yeah, just when we selected the side, so before we named it, I just went and said, how do you feel about captaining the side against England? And he said it'd be an honour. So I thought I got a huge kick out of that, just seeing his reaction, and obviously what it meant to him, and hopefully what it means to his family. And so, and hopefully we can make it a pretty special day for him on Saturday.
Okay, we've got time for 2 more questions in English, and then we'll move to Welsh. So we'll go Rob, then Steph.
Do you feel a bit more in control of this squad now?
Yeah.
And you've been able to put your stamp.
Yeah, I think if I look back on the Six Nations and all the things that were going on, is probably I looked at it and just sort of thought I need to just let things unfold here a little bit, and probably not be quite as direct or demanding as I might have normally been with coming into other environments. And I think the fact that things have settled down, there's a lot of new players come in, not just from myself but the other coaches and the leadership group, the way that we've been so much more accountable for the way that we do things, demanding sort of standards and things has been brilliant. And I just think as a group we're in a really good place, and I promise you now we will surprise some people.
Do you feel a bit more excited or a bit more confident about the World Cup coming up now than perhaps maybe you did when we were all without? heads on it.
I'm really excited. I'm telling you, this team will do something pretty special.
Okay, Steph?
Warren, you've decided to give Sam Costello an opportunity to 10.
Yeah.
What do you think his point of difference is over the other 10s in the squad, and can he perhaps give you a different dimension, especially in attack?
Yeah, look, he gets the ball through his hands really well. We've been impressed with him in terms of his ability to take the ball to the line. When he needs to get the ball through quickly, when he becomes a running threat, he's brave. He doesn't take a backward step in terms of putting his body on the line defensively. He's presented well when he's spoken to the group. He speaks with a lot of confidence, showing some really good leadership skills. We've been really impressed with him. He's still doing a lot of work with Neil Jenkins. When I first saw him, I thought that probably the weakest part of his game was his kicking game. He's been working really hard on that. Still not perfect, but there's definitely been a huge improvement in that area of his game. And we're excited about him. We really are excited about him. That's what we've put the combination with him and Gareth together, so that there is a bit of familiarity, and hopefully that makes it easier for him on Saturday.
Max Llewellyn, what do you expect from him?
Look, there's some in that midfield. There's some competition there. We're looking at the squad and what's the makeup of the squad going to be. Probably in our minds at the moment, it's probably a 19-14 split. So you then, you're thinking about your midfield. What's your midfield going to be like? You probably then need to have someone in the midfield who can cover your back three position as well. So, Max is, during training has impressed a lot of the coaches and the players in the squad. He's run some great lines. I've been really pleased with the way that he started to step up and communicate, really working hard with communicating with his teams and then giving the information in there. That's been probably one of the big areas and the focus areas that we've worked on with a lot of players in this group, about how important your voice is and how important it is to communicate. We sometimes can be a bit quiet, but it's definitely, particularly when players have been under fatigue, about how important it is that they do communicate and make sure that we're all on the same page and know what's going on. And I've seen a huge improvement in him, and then I think he's built some confidence in terms of being in the squad and where he's at. He's run some great lines, like I said, at training. So, but not just in terms of the physical side that he can bring to the game in terms of running lines. He's also, he's a good passer of the ball, and I think he's got the ability to hopefully put his outsides into some space as well.
Warren, do you relish Wales being written off?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, continue to do it, because it's only going to make us stronger.
Okay, diolch yn fawr. Cwestiwn yn Cymraeg?